So Dawn, tell us about your exam.
It's over. Yay. That's the best feeling. I definitely made a big mistake on test day. I got really distracted with highlighting and reviewing questions during the first chunk, and I ran out of time. So it was pretty scary. I started my last hour with, I think, 43 minutes. So, or my last 60 questions. So it was pretty scary. And I'll tell you, if I wouldn't have spent so much time with you, Kelly, and I call this playing the PMP game and Scott's hard questions made easy, I don't know if I would have been able to pull through, because the last 30 questions, I could either read the answer or the question, but I didn't have time to read both. So I had to just read the answers and just pick the one that seemed the best without even reading the question. And I still passed. I was above target in every area. There was 3 questions I didn't have time to answer. But man, these coaching calls and the hard questions made easy calls gave me a lot of tools to get through the big mess I created for myself.
Right. So funny story, I did the same thing when I took mine. I was like highlighting this and that, and literally the same thing where I had like 20 minutes and had like 60 questions. And I got through it. Yeah.
I don't know if I could have done it though without Scott's program and my time with you. There's no way I could have pulled that off.
That's awesome. So glad you felt totally prepared. So tell everybody, because we have a lot of new people on the call today and those who will be listening to this, tell us about your journey getting here, like how long it took you, what you went through, and then give us any advice about what you saw on the exam.
So I actually started this PMP journey 2 years ago with another class that was like the robot voice over PowerPoint, and it was so terrible. And I had just a lot of trauma in my life over the last 2 years, so I just kept postponing it. And finally, January 1st of this year, I decided to sign up for Scott's class, and I'm so glad I did, because it became fun. It was not fun before before I got involved with this program. So yeah, I feel like the class really prepared me. I think that the class was or the test itself was very similar to the simulation test, the 60 question test that Kelly's always telling us to take so she can kind of look at our scores. I thought the test was very comparable to that. It was definitely easier than what we do in the coaching calls and the hard questions made easy. But I thought it was very comparable to the simulator.
Awesome. So when did you start Scott's program?
January 1st. It was like New Year's goal. I started studying before, like in December, and I studied every day for 2 hours, and I don't think I made it anywhere. I was reading the PMBOK, version 6 and version 7. Yeah, it was terrible. So that's when I just got discouraged and found I had Scott's book before the PM Master Prep book. So I kind of just reached out to say, hey, I can't find the handouts anymore online. He was like, why don't you, let's talk about something better. And I'm really glad I made the decision. And I would say, like, best advice I can give is, even if you're not all the way through the content, don't miss these coaching calls. And don't miss the hard questions made easy on, mine was Wednesday night. So kind of gives you an hour and a half of, it's amazing what you learn from other people and going through the class and just like watching like you and Scott explain kind of the answers. And that was my key to success when it was down to the last 60 questions, because I was out of time.
That's awesome. So did you feel that the test was more agile, hybrid, waterfall, or was it really just a mixture?
It was definitely a mixture. It was definitely a mixture. And I was so nervous about the agile stuff, like, because I kept seeing questions in the simulator of like, what's a property of extreme programming? And I was nervous that the content wasn't going to be enough. And it really was. I watched the agile day 4, whatever it is, I can't remember. But I probably watched that 3 different times because there's so much information in there. And it really did. It gave me everything. I also read the Agile practice guide or whatever, Kelly, that you recommended. Maybe that fine-tuned a couple things, but I really do feel like the content in the class was enough.
Awesome. That's great. So a lot of people, the biggest question I get is, oh, I suck at math, I hate math. Did you find yourself doing any math on this test?
I didn't touch the calculator. There was definitely stuff of like, like, is your project ahead of schedule or behind schedule? Ahead of budget or, over budget or whatever, so I had a couple of those, but definitely no formulas. No, I didn't touch the calculator.
Yeah. So that's really just more of interpretation, right? They give you the CPI or the SPI, and you have to figure between one or, a positive or negative where you're at, correct?
Right. And not many. There was maybe 3, 4 questions at the most that had anything to do with a number in them.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So what advice would you give everybody on the call?
Again, don't miss these coaching calls. Don't miss the hard questions made easy. My saving grace truly was, I had 3 solid months. I started January 1st and I took the test March 30th, and I missed a couple, but I was pretty religious about going. And even if you don't get called on in the big ones with Scott or whatever, I still learned a lot during those calls.
So does anyone here have any questions for Dawn, who just got her PMP?
Where are the cookies?
I brought virtual cookies. They're right here. So everybody have one.
So I do have a question. First, I'm new, so hello everyone, but then congratulations. That's stinking awesome. And we have a similar journey. So Bruce, real quick, my question is, did you have any prior Agile experience? And then what percentage of the test would you say the test was made up of Agile?
So I don't have much Agile experience at all. So I kind of came into this like, I was like, Scrum Master. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool, right? Like, so I did not have much at all. I would say the test was pretty equal between waterfall and Agile. It was pretty equal between the two. And again, the content that, Scott's created was enough. So I would just watch the videos, watch them. I went back and watched it a second time and took notes. And then the third time kind of watched it and read my notes at the same time. There's a lot of content in those videos.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Congrats.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
Yay. Thank you. You're next.
I know.
I feel it.
Yeah. So especially kind of that final push to get ready. I've gone through all of the content. Any little tips or tricks or just kind of getting ready in that last week? What were you doing?
I was just so nervous. And I just felt like if I'm not dedicating every second that I can and I don't pass, I'm never going to give myself, right? So the weekend before, I took the test on a Wednesday. I basically went through the entire 7 days. I didn't go through the case studies and I skipped the hard questions made easy class, but I just reviewed the content, and it was, a Saturday and a Sunday of just getting it fresh in my brain. And the day before the test, I didn't do anything. I did drive to the testing center, and I'm glad I did because it was on the college campus here in town. And it took me 40 minutes to figure out how to park because like everything's in an app that you have to install. I didn't know. I was walking around the parking lot looking for a place I could stick my credit card, right, or cash. And so I would definitely make sure you go to if you go to a testing center, it's really good advice to go there the day before.
Congratulations. I am super jealous that you're done studying.
It is such a relief. And I waited too long. If I could go back, I would have probably taken it sometime in February. Because I found the longer I drug it out, the longer I had to like keep the saw sharp, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah. It's amazing how quickly you start forgetting stuff just after like a month of like, oh, wow, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I agree with that, Dawn. I think, you definitely could have taken it way sooner. And that's why we encourage you to just, let's just make a date, have something to drive to. We're project managers. We're always driving to something, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Any other questions before I let Dawn go?
I don't have a question, but
go ahead, Dawn.
Sorry, I don't have a question, Dawn, but I just wanted to say congrats and for persevering. Sounds like life threw some curveballs at you and you kept going. So good job.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll miss you, Dawn.